Welcome to today's live webinar. Happy to be here with you all. We have people tuning in from all over the world. I see we have San Antonio in the house. We've got Colorado. We've got Florida. We've got Illinois. We got British Columbia. Shout out to all the Canadians in the house. We have California, Ohio, Chicago, DMV, people tuning in from all over the world. So as you guys can see, we even have South Africa, New Jersey. Welcome, everyone. Happy to be here. For those of you who don't know me from A Hole in the Wall, my name is Josh Valentine, and I am going to be your presenter for today. And the information that you were invited to see is information that absolutely changed my life. So roughly 15 years ago, I was introduced to this phenomenal industry that we're going to be talking to you guys here about tonight. And the video clips that you guys were seeing was a recent trip that I just took with my family and a bunch of friends. We went out to Cape Town, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. And part of what we're going to be talking to you guys here today is travel and lifestyle, how you can take your life to the next level. The other half of what we're going to be talking about is an optional opportunity aspect of what it is that we have. So really happy to be here with you all. And we're going to be having some of my friends actually come and join me here. So for those of you who will be sharing your testimonials, let's get them shared here. I'm really happy to be here with our amazing community. If you guys don't mind, just raise your hand. That way I can select you when it's time to share your testimonial. Okay, so now at 1 p.m. Eastern, that's in about 20 minutes or so, we're going to be doing a live training for our business community. So you guys are in for something special here, and I would definitely recommend staying on if you want to get some entrepreneurship training on our amazing profession here. So let's get this show on the road and jump right into this information. I am going to pull up some visuals for you guys. That way you can have an idea of what exactly it is that we have going on. So once again, drop a comment. Let us know where in the world you are tuning in from. And let's get this party started. Here we go. All right. So in case you're wondering, I am a real person. You guys are more than welcome to connect. You can find me all over the internet for the most part. And many people know of me as the World Traveler for the work that I do as a travel and lifestyle influencer on Instagram. Feel free to connect. You can pretty much find me everywhere. Okay. And I typically post a lot of content of my travels. My wife and I just got back from Lisbon, Portugal, and Spain. We were out in Barcelona. And if you've never been to either city, Lisbon or Barcelona, I definitely recommend it. And let's get into it. All right. So for those of you, again, who are hearing about my story for the very first time, and by the way, if you guys can hear me and see me okay, just drop a Y in the comments. I want to make sure that everybody can hear and see me okay. And I see we have more and more people tuning in. We got Minnesota in the house, Georgia in the house. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so this was me in another life. So I got recruited to play football at a military school way back in the day. And I was one of those brothers that was the first person in his family to go off to college. And I went to school. And I had a Coast Guard license to operate ships. So right out of school, I was working as a maritime captain, doing very well financially. The issue was my wife and I were in the same industry. So my wife went to school to become a naval architect. She had a bachelor's of engineering. And my wife is originally from the Bahamas, by the way. And we were both in the same industry. And we were financially free, but time broke. And I'm not sure how many of you can relate to that story. But for those of you who can relate to just being time broke, then you know what I'm talking about. And we were looking for something else. We wanted to settle down and have a family. So, you know, in terms of what it is that we we started looking up different business models, from franchising to investing to real estate. And a good friend of ours that we went to college with had introduced us to this amazing industry of travel, lifestyle, home-based business. And our lives were forever changed. You know, the world of travel, lifestyle has allowed us to travel to all the wonders of the world, all of the inhabited continents, build schools in third world countries, do all kinds of philanthropy around the world. And it's just been a blessing. And we ended up having 3 kids in about 3 years. So I always joke and say we had a little too much time freedom because at the ripe age of 24 years young, my wife and I were basically fully retired from the workforce. We went all in into the world of entrepreneurship and never looked back. So a lot of people essentially know of my work from the work that I do as a coach and a consultant. I speak on television for the work that I do in coaching. And sometimes I get the question too, like people see my podcast, interviewing pro athletes, industry experts, celebrities, things like that. And they wonder, like, why in the world are you doing this travel thing? You have so many things going on outside. And I oftentimes have to explain to people that, for my wife and I, we're very big on generational wealth. And the one thing that we knew is that the work that we were doing as coaches and even podcasters, those weren't things that we could essentially pass down to our children. You see, my wife and I, we're very faith-based people, and we believe in the biblical concept that a wise person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. And we wanted to be able to leave behind generational wealth. And for those of you who are on and you are open to the idea of passing down generational wealth to your family, then you're definitely in the right place. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how we do it. And it's through this right here, the Ultimate Lifestyle Club, Club Viago. Now, Viago means the way to go. That's where the name comes from. And Viago, think of us like a Costco or BJ's membership, but for your travel and your everyday lifestyle. So that's essentially what we are in a seashell. And with Viago, you get exclusive access to some of the most incredible places around the world and a lot of other lifestyle benefits. So our members, when they become members, they get access to a website just like this. And I'm going to show you guys how to navigate through that website directly after the presentation. But with this website, I always say that it's like having a travel agent in your back pocket with an online shopping mall. So you can actually customize and curate your very own experiences exactly how you want them. Flights, hotels, rental cars, cruises, activities, and you're going to get the hookup on a lot of these things. So for example, when my wife and I went to Barcelona and we went to Lisbon, it was literally right on the fly. We decided that we were going probably 48 hours before actually going. And what we did was we hopped onto our booking engine and we customized a trip right on the fly. While we were out in Barcelona, we were booking hotels and everything else right through our website for Lisbon. So pretty cool feature to have. And you can book essentially all hotels around the world, any dates. There's no blackout dates or anything like that. Now, this is an example of one of the savings that you would get. Let's say you want to go catch a vibe out in Las Vegas and stay at Caesar's Palace. As you can see, our technology is going to show you the very best public price that you're going to find on websites like Priceline, Expedia, Orbitz, Kayak. Then they're going to show you our price. And as you can see in this example, you're saving over 30% booking through us as opposed to anywhere else online. Same at this example. So this is a Noble House Resort. And as you can see, you'll see the public price versus our price, and you're saving almost 40% booking through us as opposed to anywhere else online. Now, as much as our booking engine is incredible, this right here is our bread and butter. That's our VIP escapes. And if you've ever taken a VIP escape, by the way, drop a 1 in the comments. I want to see who in our community has taken a VIP escape. We have tons of brand ambassadors who are on the call. And as you guys can see, the ones are flowing in. And the way that I like to describe a VIP escape, it's like having access to the champagne lifestyle on the beer budget. So you have 4- and 5-star experiences at 2- and 3-star prices you're simply not going to find anywhere else in the world. So here's an example of one that I took way back, probably about a year and a half ago in Phuket, Thailand. So we took dozens of family members and friends. And the way our program works is you book your flight right through the booking engine that we provide you. Once you book your flight, you can basically pick one of the customized trips that are already set up for you. It's turnkey. So everything is set up for you the moment you get to the airport. So we got to Phuket. We had someone with a name pick us up VIP style. All of the transportation throughout Thailand was included. We had a welcome reception party. So the cool thing about our community is that you get to meet community. You get to meet people from all over the world. We're in 60+ countries worldwide. So you meet phenomenal people from all over the world. And we had a welcome reception party. We had even a farewell dinner. We had all of the transportation throughout Thailand was included, as well as we did island hopping, sunset dinner cruise. We did all of the excursions. You literally could have left your wallet at home and that's all you would have paid. No extra taxes or anything included on this trip. And we actually paid an additional $150 to stay 3 more days at this 5-star hotel. And the cool thing about it is they gave us the $150 back to use massages and all kinds of things on the resort. So definitely one of my favorite trips, and Phuket is a vibe, guys. And as you can see, that price, $399. Now, that's not per night. That's per person for the entire stay. Okay. And sometimes when people see that price, they get a little skeptical. They're like, okay, what's the catch? Is this some kind of timeshare presentation? When I get to Phuket, I have to sit in on a 2 hour timeshare presentation. So remember the Costco example that I shared with you guys earlier. So just like Costco's and BJ's, they have a bulk buying business model. We took that same bulk buying model, but we applied it to the travel industry. So essentially what we do is we'll buy out tons and then we negotiate the very lowest price for our members. And because we have thousands and thousands of members all around the world, leverage power to so. So that's why we're able to get these incredible rates. Now, these are some pictures of my wife and I on that trip. Phuket, I'm telling you, is one big party. And these are a bunch of family and friends that we went on the trip with. We went to the elephant and tiger sanctuaries and so many incredible things, guys. And here's another trip to Bali, Indonesia. Now, the unique thing about this trip is it's a reward. Use points to bring down the total trip. And in our point system, it's $1 per point. Points. So as you can see in this Bali trip, included, we have excursions on this trip. We have meal packages on this trip. And your points, $4.99. And again, that's not per night. That's for the entire stay. Okay. Now, this Dubai trip, we did our global launch a couple of months ago out in Dubai. And I took a similar trip to this in Dubai. Now, the amazing thing about our program is the fact that you can actually customize it. You can enhance it. So we extended our trip 3 days to stay in Egypt to see the pyramids of Giza. And once we got to Dubai, I mean, we had the desert safari tour. We got to do all kinds of like camel riding, dinner overlooking the sunset desert. We got to explore around the Dubai Mall, all kinds of private shows and meal packages and everything. You guys can see the inclusions there on the right-hand side for this specific trip. And all we paid was $449. So you guys get the point. From 10-day cruises in Greece to Costa Rica to Spain to Italy, so that South Africa trip that you guys were watching, we have these all around the world. And if you guys don't mind, drop a comment on your most favorite escape that you've taken so far. I see we have people who've also gone to Thailand, Vietnam, and all these amazing places, but we have them around the world, guys. And sometimes I get the question, well, what if I don't really travel very often? How can I benefit from this membership? And I oftentimes tell people that we're not just a travel savings program, we're a lifestyle savings program. So you can actually utilize the membership every single day, which is incredible. So let's just say you want to book movie tickets, concerts, you want to go to a professional basketball game, baseball game, or maybe you just want to shop for restaurants and get discounts on theme parks. You can actually go right through our Daily Deals platform, and our average member saves over $4,000 a year right through this platform. So for example, when I was in Thailand, we had a leisure day and I was looking for something to do. So we went right on our activities tab and I found ringside seats, ringside tickets for a Muay Thai boxing tournament. $45, and they gave us a free gift, which is pretty cool. So we have over 1 million different retailers that you guys can tap in with and get discounts on. So that's what I love about our program is you don't have to wait till you vacation. You can use the membership every single day on things that you already pay for. Now, I'd be here for over 2 hours if I went over all the exact details of what it is that we offer. We offer a lot more, guys. That's just scratching the surface. Like, we even have Be Well telemedicine services. So my wife and I, we don't go to doctors or clinics when us or our kids are not feeling well. We literally get on with our telemedicine provider on the phone. He or she will prescribe us any medication or prescriptions that we need. We go right to our local CVS and pick up our prescription. So that's even included with the membership. And there's so much more. And usually by this point, people are like, all right, Josh, like, let's talk numbers because this sounds crazy expensive. And we have made it affordable for the masses. Like I said, we're in over 60 countries worldwide. Many of those are third world countries where the average salary is less than $400 a month. So basically, the way the payment works is you have a one-time initial activation payment that you never spend again. But the cool thing is our goal is to give you back more than you give us. So by you spending $450 on us, we're going to give you $600 worth of travel. That's 600 points that you can use towards future escapes that you want to take. In fact, if you signed up today, you can actually book your very first trip with the same money you used to sign up. And then my favorite part of the program is our optional and waivable monthly subscription. Why is that? Because that monthly subscription works a lot like a vacation piggy bank. So you're putting away up to $100 a month, $99 a month, equal to 100 points every single month. And you're accumulating these points for future reward escapes to take down the road. And you can use those points for all kinds of stuff. So I'll share that later, but it's an amazing program. And as I mentioned, the monthly subscription is waivable. So what do we mean by that? We have a referral program. And with our referral program, if you referred, let's just say 6 family members and friends who want to save money and travel to our community, and they come on board, not only can you be
Josh, we may have lost your sound. Hey everyone, just hang tight with us here. It looks like we might have a little bit of technical difficulty. We're going to see if Josh can.
My apologies on that, Shar. Looks like we got disconnected there. My apologies. Hopefully we're all good again.
Yep,
All
we're
right.
good to go. We can see you and hear you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Champions adjust, as you guys know. So let's jump right back into it. So I'm going to be going into, I'm going to be bringing this plane in for a landing and switch gears over to the business portion, which I'm really excited about because I know some of you are probably hearing about this and you're like, hey, this sounds incredible, but right now these bills are billing and life is life, and I do not have the ability to take a vacation. And I have some good news for you because we have a phenomenal brand ambassador program. So if any of you have ever considered getting paid in the travel industry, this is actually a phenomenal way to do so. As I mentioned, I've been getting paid in the travel industry, home-based business for almost 15 years now. So I know a thing or two about this. Now, I will say this. This business is ultimately for 3 types of entrepreneurs. It's for the entrepreneur that doesn't have a lot of time. So if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time, this business is perfect for you because it's not about the amount of time you put in. It's about the amount of people you share it with the little time that you have. So if all you have is 1 hour a week, we have these meetings pretty much every single day. You can work it 1 hour a week if you want, and you can invite as many guests as you want onto these Zooms, which is pretty cool. Now, this is also for the entrepreneur that doesn't have a lot of startup capital for a traditional business. So most traditional businesses, they can be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and sometimes thousands of dollars a month just to keep that business open. And as you guys can see with this business, you're only paying one time $49. Now that $49 is going to cover your very own business website. You can track the growth of your organization with that back office. You can set up your commissions if you want direct deposit or however you want to receive your compensation. You can do that right through your website. Okay. And lastly, this business is for those entrepreneurs that don't want to do all the selling. So if you have no desire to sell, this business is perfect for you. Why? Because you bring your guests and we do the rest. That's the way this business works. So you never have to be doing what I'm doing right here. If you can just get good at inviting people to see the blessing, then you can essentially make money here. We're not the message, we're the messengers, right? So you guys share this information in terms of like the Zoom presentation. Your people come on and we present the information for you, and we train them like we're about to do right at the top of the hour. So we have about 5 different ways you can earn income. I'm going to go over 2 for the sake of time. The very first way is our direct bonus. Think of it like an affiliate commission. Many of you are probably familiar with affiliate marketing. And basically the way it works is every single one of those Viago Plus memberships that you sell for $450, you're going to make a direct commission of $100. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, I can assure you, your family member, your friend did not invite you just to get $100 off of you, right? So here's the cool part. Remember, you guys can waive your monthly fee. So if you just get, let's just say 6 family members or friends on board, not only are you going to make $600, but you can also have a free membership at that point. But here's where it gets exciting. Because this business, you have what we call leverage income in the business world. Leverage income is the idea that it's much better to have 1% the effort of 100 people instead of 100% of your own effort. Why is that? Because we're always limited by the amount of hours that we have every single week. So you need a team of people in order to scale wealth at the highest levels. Now, what I love about this is out of the 6 people, think of this. How many of the 6 people are going to be open to the idea of making some extra income? How many are going to be open to the idea of waiving their monthly payment? And that's what I love, is because you can get team commissions off of everything that they do. And the more you help people, the more it helps you. So I always say you're in business for yourself, but definitely not by yourself. So let's just say those 6 people, through the power of referral, eventually grow to 10 members. With as little as 10 members, you unlock residual income. And there's a saying that if people understood the power of residual income, they would walk through a mountain to get it. Because with residual, it's truly the ability to do what you want, when you want, how you want, for as long as you want. I like to call it Will Smith money or mailbox money. You see, Will Smith still gets paid residuals from Bad Boys 1 that was shot 30 plus years ago. Okay. And that's the power of residuals. You build it once and it continues to pay you out. So let's give you guys a hypothetical situation, right? Let's just say out of the 6 people you bring in, they grow to about 500 members through the power of referrals. With 500 members, you are earning $5,000 minimum residually every single month. Okay, now when my wife and I had collectively put in about 34 family members and friends, those 34 people grew to over 1,000 people in our careers, and that generated a 6-figure income in this profession. Now, when we collectively put in about 55 people, those 55 people grew to over 10,000 people, 90% of which we never even met. And that got us to the 7-figure level. So that's what I love about this business, is you have true leverage. And this is essentially what you would be making for the amount of members that you have in your organization. So prime example, let's just say you have 50 members. You can be making $500 minimum a month. Now, that's not just $500. That's over $6,000 a year in residual income. Meaning, even if you're not actively building the business, as long as you have 50 members, you're generating that $500 a month consistently. And that's what I love about it. And the cool thing is, you're not only benefiting off of what you and your team do, you're also benefiting off of what we do. Okay, so sometimes it's a situation where the people who bring you in can actually add members in your network as well, contributing to that residual income. And as you guys can see, at 10,000 members, you're earning over $85,000 a month. That's over $1 million a year in residual income. So an amazing milestone to reach. Now, before I close out this presentation, I always love sharing what I call the Keep It Real slide. The reason why I call it the Keep It Real slide is because, guys, there's no guarantees regarding income. It's like any business. You know, I wish I could sit here and tell you you're guaranteed to make all this money, but I like to keep it real with people. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. Sometimes people are like, man, this sounds so simple. Like, what's the catch? The catch is this. You show 0 people, you make $0. It's as simple as that. You have to put in the work. You can't go to the gym and say the gym doesn't work if you're not willing to put in the sweat equity. So you have to put in the work. But I'll tell you what this business is not. It's not one of those businesses where the people at the top make all the money while everyone at the bottom make them rich. Because we've had people come in who are brand new, who have outranked and outbanked the people at the top. You understand? So that's what I love about this business. It's an equal opportunity for everyone. It's also not a get rich quick because usually get rich quick just means get broke faster. So it's also not that. It's a real business and you have to put in the time necessary to make this thing work. So as we wrap up here, I just wanted to share our phenomenal training system. Our next one is going to be in Ohio in September. You guys, if you guys don't mind, drop the dates on there and where people can get registered for our Ohio event. I believe at viagoevents.com. You should be able to get registered. This was one of the events that I actually spoke at. This event that you guys are seeing up here. But our next one is going to be in Ohio. And what I love about our training system is for those of you who have aspirations to be motivational speakers, maybe you've always wanted to speak on stages around the world, you can actually get certified through our company on becoming a trainer with our company. You can fly all around the world and be in arenas and stadiums around the world right through our training platform. So that's what I love. And obviously, training, public speaking is not everybody's cup of coffee, but at a minimum, you'll be able to attend these events and actually learn from multimillionaires in our company, learn how to build a successful business. And we like to call it edutainment because part of it is educational. The other part is just having a vibe all weekend long. So it's not like traditional work training. We always have a blast at these events. So as I wrap up here, as I mentioned earlier, with the business, the travel, to go all in with all of it, you're essentially paying about $500. Now, remember, out of the $500 you spend, you're getting back about $600 worth of travel to book your very first reward escape. Then you have the waivable monthly subscription, get 6, pay no more. You have a free membership at that point. And then at a minimum, whether you refer people or not, you can get that complimentary getaway on us, which is pretty cool. So again, no obligations to do the business. We have tons of people who just come on board for the membership. Now, I just wanted to highlight this alternative membership. I like to call it the basic pack. It's also known as the standard membership. And this is essentially half the price across the board. Half the price to get started, half the price a month. The difference between the two is, let's just say you're in the US and you signed up today and you want that complimentary trip at the end of the year. You have to be a part of the Plus Pack. This one does not give you that. Also, the Plus Pack gives you 100% of your points as opposed to 50% of your points with this membership. Okay, so the last thing that I typically share is the timing feature. So with this business, it works like timing and placement, just like any business. So the sooner you come in, the more money you can make and the faster you can make it. Remember, you could also potentially benefit from the person who brings you in. So I always recommend for those of you who are interested in the business side to get started. The sign-up process takes less than 5 minutes. You can just reach back out to your family member or friend, let them know if you want to do the travel or the travel and the business, and they can help get you set up with your website right away. Now, I close out with this, and this has essentially just been our lifestyle over the last 15 years. You typically hear of entrepreneurs on social media talking a good game on, financial freedom and time freedom. But one thing that I can say is that this phenomenal opportunity has actually allowed my family and I to live it. God forbid anything ever happened to us, our kids can inherit our residual income. And that's what it's about, guys. It's about generational wealth. It's about legacy impact. Your business is transferable and willable. God forbid anything ever happened to you. Listen, you're probably not going to be able to pass down that job to your kids. But how cool would it be if you had residual income to pass down? Now, sometimes people ask me like, hey, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? And I say, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. You come on board, you take a trip with the same money you used to sign up. If you don't like it, you cancel it. There's no long-term contracts, no cancellation fee, nothing like that. So you have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. Okay, because best case scenario is you travel around the world, have some of the most incredible bucket list experiences. You get to meet phenomenal people, and even better, you get to earn some residual income with us. Okay, so if there's anything that I would ask from you, it's simply this. For those of you who don't come on board, it's all good. Just let your family member and friend know that, hey, I'm good. I don't want to travel more. I don't care to make extra money. I'm good on this. And I promise you they'll still be your friend. But if there's anything that I'll ask from you is that when you go off to work on Monday, if you work a traditional 9 to 5, I just asked because I know that the majority of deaths that happen in America are typically on Monday mornings between the hours of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Do you know why is that? Because there are people who are burnt out, stressed out, sick and tired of being sick and tired of going to a job that they don't want to work, going to a job where they don't feel fulfilled. And if there's anything that I would ask from you is when you put that key in the door to lock it off, to lock it up for the day before going off to that 9 to 5. I just want you to simply to ask yourself, is this it? Is this it? Did I simply come on this earth to work, pay bills, and die? And if that's not the case for you, again, what do you have to lose? Join us on the beaches of the world, and I most certainly look forward to seeing you at our next convention, hopefully, but at a minimum, seeing you on some of our escapes. I can't wait to meet you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. Get back to the person who invited you. If you're still interested in hearing more, we have a training lined up for you guys. So drop a comment if you guys got value out of today's presentation. Always happy to be here with you all, casting vision on what this amazing phenomenal opportunity has been for my family and I. So thank you for everyone who jumped on. We're about to jump into today's presentation. And I see we have people tuning in from all over the world. Welcome, everyone. Happy to be here with you all. Again, if you just want to be a fly on the wall, it's all good. I'm going to be doing a quick training on how you can navigate through the website, some of the member benefits. Before I do so, I want to introduce you guys to some of my friends. I have some phenomenal people who are part of our community, our business community, who've traveled, who've earned income with us. So if you guys don't mind, drop a, raise your hand, if you can share. I'm going to have Shar come up first. What's going on, Shar? Happy to be here with you.
Great morning, or afternoon or evening, wherever you might be in the world. My name is Shar. I'm currently here in Denver, Colorado, just recently moved because of the lifestyle that we get to have here. Professionally, when I saw this industry and an idea just like this, I was practicing trauma ER medicine, serving in the US military, raising a family of 4 now adult children, and training for the US Olympics, but also had just received a life-threatening diagnosis of cancer. And it felt like my life was literally falling into pieces. But I can tell you now, I can see that God just literally put it back together the way that it was supposed to be. And because of people just like Josh that I met here in this community that have taught me everything and helped me think a different way of doing life, hence Viago, to go through life a little differently, we have this vehicle that allows us to create a life and bless other people by dealing hope and impacting the world for good. And I know that is what God put me on this earth to do. I'm a residual income earner here. I help with the trainings, and most recently just got back meeting a bunch of our community members for the first time in real life that I had known on Zoom in Vietnam. It was an absolutely hands down incredible 10-day experience for us. And right behind me is one of the many pictures from that. This is at the Pagoda Gardens at the very top of Bana Hills, where that Golden Hands Bridge is. And they made this garden. It's a peacock. All the way at the top is the head, and this is the feathers of a peacock, one of the many incredible sights that we got to see on that trip. So back to you, Josh. Let's go, Viago.
Thank you so much, Shar. Really appreciate that. Great testimonial, by the way. And if you guys don't mind, for those of you who are open or willing to share your testimonial, definitely would be great to have you come share. And maybe you haven't shared in the past. And it'll be great for our community to just, get a great introduction of who you are. So I see we got my brother, Willie Myers, on. So Willie, what's going on, brother? Happy to have you here. Let me make you co-host. That way you can share your phenomenal testimony with our community.
Hey, Josh, appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the presentation. Hey, everyone. My name is Willie Myers. Reside out of Woodstock, Georgia. I'm a retired government employee. Listen, you see the trips. You see the savings that were expressed, but let me kind of share something with you. When I was introduced to this platform, I was actually overseas when I first was placed in front of entrepreneurship and this industry as a whole. But a little bit of a setback. I didn't quite understand the whole gist of it. And shortly after, I was critically injured overseas. So the thought of me being able to do anything to this extent wasn't even in my wheelhouse. I made a decision I made a decision to surround myself around a group of people, the people that sit on the screen, the people that's part of this community. They encourage you. I was able to actually get my mindset together, get myself to a position where, you know what, let me make sense of this. And I said yes. I made a decision. Went to work. I was able to reach the second level of residual income. I was able to get my six, so my membership is free. And on the wayside, let me kind of share something with you. I was told I was never going to walk again. In fact, right now, I have limited mobility to my arms and to my hands, and I have to use a stylus at times when I want to take notes. But with that, I reached my six. I reached the second level residual income. So if there's any questions whether or not you can do this, it's all about making a decision, surrounding yourself around this community, and let us help you. Let us help you get to that point. Let us help you reach your goals. And one or two things are going to happen. We're either going to see you at one of our escapes, hanging out on the beach, or crossing the stage at one of our events. So I look forward to seeing you. Josh, appreciate you allowing me to share.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. And man, we can have so many testimonials, but I want to add as much value as possible to you guys. I always love coming on and just training our community because you guys are just, like myself, maybe you're the black sheep in the family and are an outlier in your family. You kind of feel like you don't fit in because you just believe that there's so much more in life. You feel like, you don't want to just confine yourself to a job that you don't want to work for the rest of your life. You want freedom. You want to be able to travel around the world and live life on your terms. And I know a thing or two about that. Like I said, I haven't worked a full-time career since I was 24 years young. So it's been quite some time. And it was the best decision I made to go all in on this phenomenal profession. And, for those of you who maybe that intrigues you, and I know that you'll be able to get tons of value from today's training. So before I jump into today's training, I actually have some great value. I have my old journal. So if you don't have a journal, guys, get yourself a journal. The cool thing about it, I'm going to be able to share notes that I took from over 10 years ago. I can go back to these notes and train on these notes today. How cool is that? So take notes as if you're someday going to have to do a training on what it is that you're learning. You just never know. So that's what I love about just note-taking and journaling as well. I even have, nice, I see Shar's ready to take some notes. I even have just journal entries of when I was working on the water, and I'd be away just building my dreams. I wanted financial and time freedom. I wanted to be able to live life on my terms. And I have, the way that I was feeling at the moment, taking journal entries of that entire process. This is one of the best things that you can do for generational wealth. Is how cool is it that you can leave behind a library for your kids or your grandkids? But not only can you leave behind a library, imagine if you had a library of journal entries. How amazing would that be if they can just read about the thoughts of other authors, but also read about the thoughts of their ancestors, read about the thoughts of their parents and grandparents. So I always suggest just taking notes, journaling about, this season of your life and really get in the game. Build your hero's journey here in this amazing community. So with that being said, before I jump into some of the topics that I want to talk about, I want to share a little bit on how to navigate through the website. So as you guys can see, my presentation is very quick and very to the point. I've learned over the years that you don't really need a whole lot to get people started, right? The cool thing about what it is that we do is the deeper you go down the rabbit hole, the more value you find with our amazing membership. So I just wanted to share with you kind of how I personally navigate through this site. And it's not necessarily the very like, I know there are people who are super experts on the Club Viago membership who are even more qualified to talk about this, but I just want to show you guys how I personally use it. For example, when you come on board, for those of you who are wondering, like, hey, how does the point system work? Like, am I going to get an email about the points? The points automatically upload right on your website. So if you guys look here, I have almost 6,000 Viago points there on my top right that I can use at any point in time. So let's just say you want to use your points. If I was in a situation where I wanted to use my points, I'm going to go right down to this drop down tab. And I'm going to go to reward escapes. The reward escapes are the trips that you can actually apply points towards. So maybe this is your first time, hearing about this, but you guys can see all kinds of options on here. And by the way, these options are always being updated. We're always adding more and more trips to the inventory. These are those turnkey prepackaged vacations. So let's just say you want to, for example, book an all-inclusive Aventura escape, okay? Here in, I believe this is Mexico. Now, if you want to book this reward escape, you can apply up to 200 points. Remember, when you first get started with the Plus Pack, you'll have 600 points right away. So you can apply 200 out of the 600 to bring down the total cost. So rather than paying, let's just say $775 per person on this trip, this will bring down one of the people's payment. So instead of $775, one of the travelers will be paying $575 because they can apply 200 points. So this is kind of what that would look like. As you guys can see, many of these trips even have some of our top brand ambassadors in the company, some of the most successful people in the company, some of our brand ambassadors who are top leaders who also come on these trips with you. So it's a great opportunity to meet some phenomenal people in the community. So this trip, as you can see, you can apply up to 400 points. So out of the 600 points you get right away, remember, if you're spending around $500, but you're getting about $400 back in travel right away, it's absolutely valuable. And you guys can see from China, you can apply points Dubai. This is New Year's in Dubai, which is pretty amazing. You got Cairo, Egypt, and so many different places. Bali. So this is where I would go if you're looking to apply some of your reward escapes. Now, remember that complimentary yearly trip. If you need information on that, you can go right to Getaways. If you want to look at just the rest of our inventory of escapes, you can go right on the escapes and pull up all of our trips. Now, not all of these, you're obviously not going to be able to apply points, but one thing that I can assure you, you'll more than likely save more money on the escapes than the actual membership cost itself, because these are all discounted, highly, highly discounted. Now, the booking engine, this is what I use to book all of my travel throughout Europe. I just got back about a week ago from, like I mentioned, I was in Portugal and I was in Spain, and I booked everything right through this booking engine. It's phenomenal. Like I always say, it's like having a travel agent in your back pocket. Flights, hotels, rental cars, cruises. You can customize your trips exactly how you want. Like I mentioned in the presentation, for those of you who are wondering, like, well, are there blackout dates? Am I limited, like some kind of timeshare? Absolutely not. And you have tons of different things that you can choose from right through the booking engine, all kinds of savings, which I love. Now, we also have, as I mentioned, member deals. We have the telemedicine service. We even have a Viago Healthcare. Okay, so you can go on Viago Healthcare and literally see all kinds of healthcare options that you can save money on, which is pretty amazing. So we have some brand ambassadors who are full-time as well, who just do their healthcare right through Viago Health. Okay, now going back to the member benefits. So let's just say you want to look up certain activities to do. As I mentioned in the presentation, you can use the membership every single day to just get normal stuff. Okay, so if you want to book theme parks and attractions, hotels, rental cars, one of the things that I like to do is look up shows, sports, and concerts. So if you want a Broadway show, or you want to see a specific like football game or anything like that, concerts, you can literally go and see all the different concerts, all of your favorite artists, whether it's Lady Gaga or The Weeknd or Oasis, the Eagles, Maroon 5, all of that. You can basically get discounts on that. Now, I'm not sure if we had anybody at that Coldplay concert, but boy, man, I can tell you, talk about awkward. But yeah, we probably had Coldplay as well. I think I saw Coldplay here once. But tons of different options. Let me just kind of see right here. I don't know if they're still on tour or not. Okay, they may be on tour. I know Bad Bunny is on tour. But you guys can see like there's tons of different options on here that you can choose from, which is pretty cool. So here we go. So we have that, and I just wanted to briefly go over, some of the benefits for those of you who are seeing this for the very first time, and tons of really cool things. Now, keep in mind that our back office is a separate website from this. The back office will allow you to track the growth of your organization. You can set up your commissions, all of that stuff. You can see how much you're making weekly, monthly, everything. Okay, but this is specifically the membership that all of our members get. Now, for those of you who are new, I just want to recommend that you use this as part of your presentation. Sometimes what I do is I don't even need to present. I can just show family members my website, and they'll sign up just off of the deals that they see on my website. So don't always feel as if you have to go about the presentation one way. You can just really show people the value right by showing your website. If I'm sitting there with a family member or friend, I'm going to sit there and show them personally, like, hey, here are some of the benefits that you get. So I love using this as a closing feature. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention for the sake of time on our presentation is our marketplace. Now, we actually have lifestyle products that you can apply points towards. And there's some of the most phenomenal products out there. And we have different inventory that you can just kind of search through, and you can not only get discounts on these products, but you can even apply your points. So if you want to, for example, buy our molecular hydrogen product, our recovery, this helps with all kinds of discomfort and everything like that. One of our top selling products, you can literally click on recovery. And I'm going to show you guys how this would work. Because some of you are like, man, Josh has 6,000 points. How in the world is he going to ever be able to use those with all those, trips? Well, the cool thing is I can use those 6,000 points for products as well. So if I wanted to book a recovery, I'd click add to cart. So we believe in the well-being of your whole being. In case you're wondering, what does products have to do with any of this, right? So I click checkout. And as I click checkout, look at this, points. I can apply up to $40 worth of points. So if you had 600 points, you can just click, I want to use points, and then maybe you don't want to use all your 40 points, but I'm going to put 40 and look at the price on the right. So let's just say I wanted to buy a few recoveries at $135. I put the 40 points that I want to use, and it brings down the price to $95. How cool is that, right? So tons of things that you can use the points for. And I just wanted to share that because I know some people have not started buying products, and there's just so many different products that you can choose from because it's all about looking your best and feeling your best when you're on these vacations. And that's the biggest thing for us. So guys, I'm excited because I know some of you who are new, I had to kind of show you a quick introduction to our lifestyle club, but I want to talk to those of you who've been around for a while. I love my brand ambassadors who've been here for quite some time, and I know you want a little bit more of an advanced training, and I wanted to provide you with some of the training, some of the notes that I've taken over the years from this archive here. I should call it an artifact because, I mean, these pages are barely hanging on. But let's jump into it. I have some phenomenal training, and if you're new, by the way, part of the way we go about getting our membership and our products and all that stuff out there in the marketplace is through the network marketing profession, okay? And it's a phenomenal profession. And if you, at any point in time, decide to build an organization, you want to build a sales team, you want to build leverage, then taking the network marketing profession serious is probably going to be your best bet. And I'm going to give you guys some of the best notes that I've taken over the years, okay? Now, if you really want to get value out of this, I'm not sharing any slides. So take notes because if you don't take notes, I can assure you, you're going to forget 90% of what I share over the next 25 minutes or so. Okay, so let's jump into it. To get us kickstarted, here are some of the laws of network marketing, okay? Now, And someone asked, by the way, book a reward trip for a family member. Can I book a reward trip for a family member? You have to, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to be on the trip if it's a reward escape, okay? So just wanted to share that you can book flights, hotels, rental cars right from the booking engine for family. But if you want it to be a reward escape or an escape, you personally have to be on that membership. So escapes and reward escapes are for you and your household. Okay, you, a +1 adult, and typically, you know, children up to the age of 18. All right, so just wanted to clear the air on that. Okay, and all right, perfect. And yes, and we have the recording. I'm from New York City. We tend to talk a little fast. So for those of you who didn't quite get everything, you're more than welcome to go back and listen to the recording as well. Okay, so the laws of network marketing to get us kickstarted. First and foremost, we have every network marketer starts off as a terrible network marketer. Everyone, everyone, give yourself some grace. If you've sucked at it, listen, we all have sucked at it at some point in time. So every network marketer starts off as a terrible network marketer. In fact, your first year is really just going to be learning how to do this the right way, learning how to become a professional in it. And that leads me to the 1357 rule, okay? So the 1357 rule, for those of you who've never heard of it before, it basically is this. It takes 1 year to just learn the business. 1 year. So if you're like month 3 and you're super discouraged, you're like, oh, it doesn't work. It's like, it's exactly what my broke brother-in-law told me, that these things don't work. And now I'm a victim of this. Listen, it's not that it doesn't work. You're probably not working it right. Or you probably just simply have not been in long enough. Okay. You haven't gone through the numbers. And I just want to provide some context with this, because when my wife and I launched Viago, by the way, when we launched Viago, we were the #1 producers in terms of personal production in the first 60 days of launching Viago, okay? We had put in roughly around 50 people. And the thing about it is, you would be insane to compare our chapter 20 to your chapter 1. Like, do not compare yourself to any other leaders. Remember, we've been in this profession for quite some time. And in fact, in order for us to have put in those 50 or so people, understand this, we had reached out to about 1,000 people. Many of you are probably not going to reach out to 1,000 people in your first 90 days, okay? And that's okay. But the reason why we went that fast, because we understand that success loves speed. Fast is fun, slow sucks. Success loves speed. We wanted to compress time frames. We understand that the sooner you bring people in all together, the better it's going to be, the more momentum that's going to be generated. So that's why we approached the business the way that we did. We're also serial entrepreneurs. We have other things that we do. So for my wife and I, we wanted to take a season of our life to just go on a run, which is what we call it here in this profession. You go on a blitz, and we reached out to about 1,000 people in order to get those 50 or so people in. Now, keep in mind, we didn't get in 200 people, 300 people, 400 people. If we reached out to 1,000 people, understand that about 50% of them did not even respond back to our messages. Do you know the #1 reason why people leave this profession? Because they got their feelings hurt. They got their feelings hurt. They were super discouraged. They thought that the person that they went to the club with for years and years and partied with, and maybe they babysat their children, they thought that those people would sign up. But here's the reality. Usually the people you think will do it, won't do it. And the ones you think won't do it, will do it. That's just the way it is. In the words of Jim Rohn, you know, I wouldn't sign up for that class. If you're wondering, why is that the case? It's just the way it is. And that's okay. So give yourself some time to just learn this profession. Now, 3 years, give yourself about 3 years to retire from your job if that's what you want to do. To get to a full-time income and possibly leave your job. If you have aspirations to not work at your job forever, give yourself about 3 years. And that's how long it took my wife and I, about 3 years to get to the point where we can leave our job. Now, it takes about 5 years to make a 6-figure income. About 5 years. And that's exactly how long it took for us. About 5 years. Another thing is the 7 stands for 7 years to master your business. So when we reached the top rank of our very first company, it took us 6.5 to 7 years to finally reach that. Now, the 1-3-5-7 rule applied exactly. This was exactly what it looked like for us. Okay, so I trusted in this. And this is for people who actually follow the system. So don't think like, hey, Josh, I'm year 3 and still nothing, right? Like, this is you consistently following the system, showing the people, okay? There's a word or an acronym that you should put at the top of your list. It's SMP. SMP. SMP stands for show more people, okay? There's a concept in our profession referred to as Sinaloa. Sinaloa stands for safety in numbers and law of averages. Safety in numbers and law of averages. You have to make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Make up in numbers what you lack in credibility. Okay, some of you are starting off in this profession on the 50-yard line, and you only have 50 yards to go to reach that goal or that touchdown. Some of you are starting out on the enemy's 20-yard line, and you've got 80 yards to go. But we all start at some point on the field, and the more credibility, the higher your skill set, right? The more hustle you have, the more work you're doing, that's going to determine where you are on the field when you start this profession. One thing that I had learned is network marketing will either reward you or punish you for the life you live before starting your career. It is either going to reward you or punish you for the life that you live before you start. And what do I mean by punish? Is probably going to humble you in a major way. This is a truth-telling business, right? You're going to learn a lot about your family. You're going to learn a lot about your friends. You're going to think that, hey, I come from a supportive community. I have such a supportive tribe. And the moment you reach out to them about your business, it's crickets. Right? Like they're like ghosting you. They start acting kind of weird. They get caught with the witness protection program. And that is okay. That's all a part of the business. Now, here's another tip. Experience and represent the product. You want to be a world-class brand ambassador. Ask yourself, for those of you who've been in for over a year, have you represented our product well? Have you been a really world-class brand ambassador for Viago? You want to be a product of the product. Some of you are wondering why no one has been signing up and it's been 2 years. Well, how much have they seen you travel over the last 2 years? Are they inspired by your change in lifestyle over the last 2 years? Are they inspired by the person you're becoming from going to these national training events over the last 2 years? Always important to reflect on that. Here's another tip. Commit to personal development every day. There's a concept in the world of personal development is referred to as Kanai. Kanai is constant and never-ending improvement. In Japanese culture, it is referred to as Kaizen. Kaizen is this ongoing path to personal development, to constant improvement. And that's how you should approach this business, because success is not something you obtain. Success is something you attract by the person you ultimately become. If you want to become massively successful, if you want to become, let's just say, a Black Diamond ambassador here in Viago, well, are you carrying yourself like that? Are you that kind of leader? Can you can you cultivate the capacity to be responsible for thousands of people in your organization? Remember, what leadership is a leader is someone who can bring certainty to an environment where there is none. And you have to ask yourself, what is your responsibility? What is your capacity for responsibility? And responsibility is nothing more than your ability to respond. How do you respond to setbacks? How do you respond to obstacles? How do you respond to people complaining in your organization? How do you respond when nobody is putting in work and you have to lead from the front, because the speed of the pack is only as fast as the speed of the lead wolf? You have to lead by example. You can't push a wet noodle up a hill, right? Like it doesn't work that way. You've got to pull from the front, okay? And that's the biggest thing in this business is people forget that you have to lead by example. There's no getting around it, okay? Next up, we have the 3-foot rule. The 3-foot rule. Man, this is so good. Sometimes I go through these notes and I'm like, oh man, this is such good information. The 3-foot rule. So the way the 3-foot rule works is network with anyone who comes within 3 feet of you. When was the last time you've taken that approach? When was the last time you've taken that approach? Like you're sitting on the plane. You know, I had got some great feedback from a mentor of mine. He said when he booked at the peak of his career in network marketing, when he booked flights, now he has a private jet, but when he booked flights, he would always book the middle seat. Why is that? Because he had someone to the left of him and someone to the right of him to network with. Remember, your network is your net worth. You know, sometimes it would be kind of weird for me. I'm one of those, I'm an introverted extrovert. Like I'm a homebody. I'll be at the gym and I don't want to talk to anyone at the gym. I want to be in my headphones. I'm like in my sanctuary. I don't want to talk to anyone, okay? But one thing that I can assure you, when I was at my peak in this profession, that 3-foot rule kicked in. Like everybody within 3 feet of me, I would break the ice. I would compliment them. If I'm speaking to a woman, then I wouldn't make it weird by like giving off the vibe like I'm trying to hit on her. I'm saying, hey, you know, those are some beautiful earrings. Where can I get earrings like that for my wife? Those are some amazing shoes. Where can I get shoes like that for my wife? That way, it's not awkward. You understand? So you find ways to break the ice, or you go through the form process: family, occupation, recreation, motivation, or message. You understand? So when you network with someone, get to know them. Get to know them. Ask leading questions so you can compliment them just to break the ice, but ask them questions like, hey, are you from the area? You know, you have family out here. I live in Tampa. So in Tampa, the majority of Tampanians these days are not from Tampa. So I'm like, hey, where are you originally from? You know, what brought you out here? That's occupation. What have you been finding that's fun, you know, out here? You know, and they'll say, hey, there's this run club, or hey, you know, I actually have my community with my church, or I do ministry, or whatever. You'll find things of people. And then you ask them leading questions. Like maybe the question is like, hey, do you love what you do? You know, that sounds amazing. Like, do you love it? And they'll probably tell you real quick, like, yeah, you know, I wish I could do something else. I'm kind of getting over it. And those are leading questions. And then you can take notes and then you put them in your pipeline. That way, when you go on your blitz, you have people to reach out to. You always want to fill your pipeline with new prospects. That's how you have longevity in this profession. Remember, it is a marathon. It isn't a sprint. Okay, so that's the benefit of the 3-foot rule. And one thing that I've learned is you'll never regret meeting a new person. You'll never regret opening your mouth and sparking a conversation with someone. Okay, and you'd be surprised, you'd be amazed by like the things that people are into. You know, you may have your next diamond ambassador right next to you. And what if you are the reason that person never got their shot? No one else. You're the reason that person never got their shot because you were so caught up in your ego. So you know, cool for school that you didn't have the courage to just open up your mouth and spark a conversation. Very worst case scenario is they just give off a vibe that they don't want to talk with you. And that's okay. You go to the person to the right of you. You go to the person to the right of you. So just wanted to share that really quick. Next up, we have, and by the way, if you guys are getting value so far, drop a V in the comments. I want to make sure we're getting value here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Next up, leverage your business on social media. Get good at social media. Guys, we're in 2025. This ain't your grandpa's network marketing company. I'm sorry. It ain't the same industry. It's not the same. There's a lot of people holding on to the past. Listen, life moves on. And this industry is changing right before our eyes with AI, with social media, with everything. Okay. A lot of people have different hustles these days. There's a lot of options. People can do all kinds of side hustles, all kinds of, side businesses. So what makes you stand out? Leverage social media. But listen, do not turn into an infomercial, because people are not against network marketing. They're against network marketers. It's the people who move in a way that's like super cringe. Okay, like you want to move in a way that actually inspires people. Make network marketing look cool. That's a good book, Monty. You have to move in such a way that people are inspired by you. Remember, most people feel as if they have to go about the business the way that you go about the business. They're thinking that they have to do it like you. So if you're doing it in a way where you look like an infomercial, you got to remember, in today's day and age, people are tired of your snake oil salesman. People are tired of traditional sales. So you have to humanize your selling tactics. Humanize your selling tactics. Have some swag around the way you go about your social media. Okay? You don't have to post every single post with your Viago sign. I have like a rule of thumb, 1 or 2 out of 10. So out of every 10 posts, maybe 1 or 2. Okay? But if you start posting every single photo, like, people are going to feel like they have to do that. And 90% of the world don't want to sell. Like, they just don't like sales. And if you're giving off a very sales vibe, you're not going to attract people into your business. So definitely something to take into account. Leverage on social media. If you're not necessarily like good with social media, listen, you have YouTube University. You also have our Inner Circle. Go on the Inner Circle. You learn some phenomenal things. It's only about $20 a month, and we have like a 1-month free trial. We have a free trial. I think it's a 1 month, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys can go right on the Inner Circle and learn some phenomenal things. And with social media, you have YouTube University. Get in the game. Learn how to post on social media. Start learning how to create reels and carousels. And maybe you're a bit overwhelmed with all of this. But listen, entrepreneurship is about adaptability. It's about resourcefulness. There is no shortage of resources. There is just a shortage of resourcefulness. Most people do not make it and survive in entrepreneurship simply because they don't know how to get resourceful. They're not willing to adapt. They're not willing to learn new things. So if you really want longevity in this profession, act like an entrepreneur. Get resourceful. Get creative. I'm constantly refining my skills. Make sure you get to our next training event. So our next training event is going to be in Ohio. Guys, you are playing yourself in a major way if you're not getting registered for our next national event. We just had our last virtual RTE, and the next national is right around the corner. So maybe you're on the fence on whether or not you should go, or maybe you feel like you can't afford it. Listen, if you can't afford to get to the next national event, you can't afford to miss the next national event. You can't afford to miss it. Listen, it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. And I know some of you are probably like, well, Josh, you don't understand. Life is life and bills are billing. Listen, life is life. And for a lot of people, I can show you countless examples of people who spent their very last and absolutely changed the trajectory of their family's lineage. They had a major financial breakthrough because big decisions happen at big events. There's 2 days in your Viago career, the day you get into Viago and the day Viago gets into you. And it's simply not going to get into you until you get to these national events. Maybe you're like me and you're super analytical, you're super green. And you're like, well, I already know what to do in this business. Listen, sometimes it's not all the content. It's just the one-liner. It's the one nugget that you got. And that was all that you need. That was all that you needed, that one nugget. And sometimes it's just a one-liner. Like, I always share the story of, there was a woman who hit the top rank of the company. And I remember her saying, you will go through everything there is to go through before you make it to the top. And just that perspective shift alone. Someone saying, what if you're the reason someone never got their shot? And you guys can hear me still, right? Like, I still just mention these things. These are one-liners that I got at the national that made the biggest difference. It's not always about, oh, how to invite, how to train, how to present, and all of. Sometimes it's the way you feel coming out of the event. It's not the logical stuff. Remember this: in the world of sales, you have two concepts. You have urban and lurban. Urban and lurban. Spell it ERBN LRBN. And urban and lurban stands for logical reasons to buy, which is lurban, and emotional reasons to buy, which is urban. Okay, and in order for you to really thrive in this business, you have to take a logical approach, of course. Also, when presenting this information, maybe you're presenting to a super analytical person, or maybe you're promoting this to someone on your team and they're being super stubborn. But listen, you also have urban, which is emotional reasons to buy, emotional reasons to attend the event, right? Maybe you're talking to someone who's more community centered, and you take more of an emotional approach to the way you promote these national events. So always, when you're promoting national events, or whenever you're promoting Viago, always look for the urban and the lurban in whatever it is that you're promoting or whatever it is that you're selling. Okay, next up, building leaders is vital. Building leaders is vital. This is the difference between addition and multiplication. This is what separates the network marketers from the glorified salespeople, okay? Because if you do not have the ability to build leaders, you're just a glorified salesperson. Let's just call it for what it is. You have not actively participated in the network marketing component. What makes you a network marketer is someone who can build through networks, someone who can build teams, and that's okay. Maybe you're not where you are, and it's important to just honor where you are, okay? But what's going to officially make you a professional in the world of network marketing is when you can build leaders, when you can duplicate this business, okay? So building leaders is vital. And for some of you, you're probably like, well, how do I motivate my team? Listen, I learned years ago that sometimes it's not about you motivating people, it's about you finding motivated people. So ask yourself, if your team is a direct reflection of you, then what does that say about you and how you've been going about this business? Are you going about this business in a very intense, passionate way, right? Because if you are, you're more likely to attract people who are like you. Also, next up, posture is everything. Posture is everything. So I know some people may be listening and they're like triggered, like, he's just so straightforward and cutthroat. Listen, I ain't everybody's cup of coffee, and that's okay. You're not going to get all of them. You're not going to get all of them. Be authentically you. I'm not trying to be anybody else but me, right? Be authentically you, but be the best version of you. Have posture, because leaders want to follow strength. Fortune favors the bold. No one wants to follow a leader that doesn't have a spine. You gotta put a backbone. There's a saying where most people got a wishbone where a backbone ought to be, right? And that's the thing, is a lot of people come into this profession and they're not leading with strength. They're not leading with certainty, with conviction, with passion. You guys have heard me on the stage mention in the past, you light yourself on fire and people will fly from miles away to watch you burn. One of my favorite quotes. And that's the idea. You must light yourself on fire, right? And lead from the front, lead with passion and conviction and certainty. That's what makes you a leader. Remember, a leader is someone who can bring certainty to an environment where there is none. So a lot of people are looking for leadership. That's why we're paid the big bucks. In this profession, do you think that just knowing how to sell is what pays the big bucks? Do you think just being a master communicator is what pays us the big bucks? No, it's our leadership. It's our leadership. That's really what it is, the ability to move people. Okay, now, make the numbers your friend. This is a big one. You have to take your emotions out of it. Some of you are allowing yourself to get super discouraged because you're going through the numbers. Make the numbers your friend. Make no a vitamin. Make no a vitamin. Every single time you get a no. Because here's the thing. If I knew, for example, I understand this. In this profession, you have not started your business until you've put in 30 personals. I know some of you are like, well, I got my team, you know, I'm bringing my team, and you got a team of like 6 people. Listen, humble yourself. You don't have a team, you have a squad. Okay. That's not a team yet. Okay. When you start getting your numbers up, if you have not put in at least 30 personals, you don't have a team. I just want to clear the air on that. You may think you have a team, but that's really what's going to lead you on the path to set you free. 30 personals minimum, period. If you're wondering why you're not where you want to be, have you gotten your 30 yet? That's one of the best starting places, okay? Because in this business, we have, in any business, the Pareto principle. And no matter how hard you try, some people will refer to it as Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people are going to produce over 80% of the results. Only 20%. You go in insurance, you go in real estate, there's no deviating around this. So you always have to respect the numbers. Make the numbers your friend. That's why I love covering the concept of Sinaloa, safety in numbers and law of averages. Okay, now this is what happens when you make the numbers your friend. Whenever you get a no, whenever you when you get ghosted, you see, my wife and I reached out to 1,000 people knowing that half of them weren't even going to respond. Isn't that crazy? You've been in this profession. Listen, I speak on television, I podcast, I do some pretty cool stuff. And the thing about it is I have to eat my humble pie getting up in people's DMs, right? Sending them a message to talk about my service. And it is humble pie when they don't respond back. But guess what? I decided many years ago to make the numbers my friend. I don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Write that down in your notes. Don't take it personal. Okay? Because people don't respond for all kinds of reasons. What if you're over here, you're stressing out that someone hasn't responded and you have no idea that they're going through a life crisis? You have no idea that, you know, maybe they completely forgot to respond. Like, you're making all these assumptions and you have all these narratives in your head. And listen, don't take it personal. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next, baby? Who's next? Put that SW on top of your list. After SMP, put SW right there along the side. Some will, some won't. So what? Like, that's just the way it is. Okay, so we understood that half of those people weren't going to respond. We understood that 90% plus of the people we reached out to were not going to sign up. So why would we feel some type of way? The no's are a prerequisite for the yeses. You have to go through the no's. So one thing that we realize is by going through the numbers, you eventually end up with a ratio. So what I've discovered is my ratio is this. Out of every 5 people I show the business to properly, I'm going to show 1. So what does that mean? Josh Valentine is going to have 4 people not join him just to get 1. It would be insane to get myself all worked up about people telling me no when 4 out of the 5 people I show are not going to sign up, and there's nothing I can do about it. It doesn't matter how good I become at presenting. You see, in Major League Baseball, if you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you're a multi-millionaire. You have a multi-million-dollar contract. You only got to hit it 3 out of 10 times. 7 out of the 10 times, that ball is not making contact. So I just want to alleviate you guys of the no's, alleviate you guys of people ghosting you and not responding to your message. Maybe you went to the last travel party in your local area and you're out there doing the Viago salute, looking for your prospect. And yeah, I get it. It's humbling, but I've also had to do the Viago salute on many occasions. It's okay. It's just the way it is. And if you're willing to go through that, you can do very, very well here. Because, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I want to assure you is that the juice is worth the squeeze. The juice is worth the squeeze. My kids are in the Bahamas right now. And guess what? Right? My wife and I, if we had stayed working in our six-figure careers, always out at sea, I was spending 70% of my life out at sea. There's no way in the world I would have been able to have a family. And because of this profession, I owe everything to this profession. This profession is the reason I speak on television, the reason I podcast, the reason I do coaching and consulting all around the world. This is what built the foundation for my family. You understand? And it's the very reason my wife and I were able to even have a family in the first place. And to be able to homeschool. My kids get back from the Bahamas, guess what? They're not even going to be here the first day of school. Why is that? Because they homeschool. And they're going to come back and they're going to come homeschool. And then we're probably going to decide whether or not we want to take them somewhere and world school them, right? And we can book one-way flights and come back home when we're tired of staying where we're staying. That's the idea. That's why I say the juice is worth the squeeze. Because what is it worth for you? If you can just feel what it's like to be able to stay up past midnight and not have nowhere to be in the morning. I have so many friends that come visit us out here in sunny Florida, and they're going back home, and they're going back home to a 9-to-5 that they don't like. They're going back home to a place where they don't want to be. And you only get one shot at this life. And you're going to spend the rest of your days, if you don't do something about it, living somebody else's life designed for you. Because it's either you're going to live with intention or fall into the intentionality of people who are building their dreams. Don't live your life building someone else's dreams. Get in the driver's seat and make a decision to build your own dreams. And listen, this is not the dream. This is the vehicle to the dream. This is the vehicle to the destination of being able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, for as long as you want, for making generational impact, impacting the world, changing lives for the better. That's what it's all about. And that's what I want for every last one of you. But you have to be willing to put in the sweat equity. You have to be willing to share the blessing with the world. Don't be so damn selfish. Don't be the reason someone never got their shot. You're just so scared. I can assure you, it's all going to come full circle. The day that you see someone you reached out to that you probably met in a grocery store, and that person is on stage crying their eyes out and thanking you for the courage to share this blessing with them. And you're there hugging their neck after they get off that stage and you're crying with them. That's when it comes full circle. And if all you get on this journey is that moment, I can assure you the juice is worth the squeeze. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Always a blessing serving this community. I look forward to seeing you guys here in a couple of weeks. Get out there, make it happen. Let's build something special here. The world needs us. The world desperately needs what we have. And we have to be the messengers to get this beautiful message out there. Take care. God bless. Let's go, Viago.
Let's go, Josh. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.